It was a surprise and very good news for car fans. Toyota will bring a new high-performance sports car and a GT3 version. Both were doing some slow demo runs in Goodwood, and what we saw looked promising. But why does a mass production car manufacturer like Toyota bring a sports car now? It doesn't really matter. Let's take a look at the timeline and what we know so far. In 2019 and 2020, Toyota sent a modified Lexus LC prototype across the Nordschleife with a new V8 biturbo engine. A year later, in May 2021, they filed a patent for a new V8 biturbo engine. By that time, the decision must have been made already to create their own new sports car for this new engine instead of putting it into one of their existing cars. So in January 2022, they presented the Toyota GR-GT3 concept at the Tokyo Motor Show. A couple of months later, in summer 2022, they filed a patent for the design of the car, and it looked like the GT3 concept, just with less aero. In January 2024, they filed a patent for the name GR-GT in Europe and US, and it's to be used for a car and spare parts. And in October 2024, there was a prototype on the Nürburgring which looked very similar to the previous concept with a few changes at front and rear. The side pipes were gone and there were now 4 exhaust pipes at the back and a much simpler diffuser. And this prototype seemed to be a mix of road and race version. As a Viper driver, I have to say that the proportions pretty much remind me of a Viper. There is the long hood, huge openings behind the front axle, a far back cabin and the aggressive upwards kick at the back. Looking at the proportions, we can guess that the V8 engine will sit far behind the front axle and the gearbox sits at the back. That is confirmed by the huge rear inlets for gearbox cooling. Also, we can see the gearbox sticking out below, which is probably the reason for the lower diffuser in the final version. So we get a car from Toyota with a 4-liter V8 biturbo with hot V, transaxle concept and gearbox at the back and rear-wheel drive. Does that sound familiar? It's pretty much the AMG GT concept before they turned the car into a 2-ton 4-seater with all-wheel drive. Just the Toyota comes with a lot more serious aero, even on the road version. It has a huge center inlet for engine cooling and side inlets which could be for a possible hybrid system. The huge corner inlets without mesh could be for brake cooling at the front. Underneath it has a serious splitter for a road car with raised center for less pitch sensitivity. On the hood we can see an inlet for engine air, again Viper vibes. 2 holes for quick releases and 2 openings covered with a mesh, so let's see how they will look like in the final version. Interesting is the huge single windscreen Viper, which is now gone for the final version of the road car. The interior features a tunnel which is so wide and high that it could work as an armrest. Again, Viper vibes. The hood is very long with a boxy sidewall and a clean path along the side to the huge rear gearbox cooling inlets. If we take a closer look, we can even see the radiator fan. Since it's quite a lot of cooling just for the gearbox on a road car, it might be cooling for a hybrid system as well. Because the GT3 version wouldn't have a hybrid system, it's no surprise that front side inlets are gone and rear outlets are a lot smaller. At the front it features a huge center inlet, which is the most efficient location because of the highest pressure. At the side we can see large additional lights for racing in the night, and the far rearward sitting V8 allows for a huge split center outlet. Upper part might be for intercooling, lower part for water radiator. Additionally, we see large front rear louvres, and the best part is, the side pipes of the concept car stayed on the GT3 version. That way they save weight and avoid overheating issues further back in the car. We see a huge swan neck mounted rear wing with aggressive angle. Check out my other video to learn all about swan neck wing mountings and what's their advantage. And the side mirror stalks help to keep the front rear wake low and away from the rear gearbox cooling inlets. For the GT3 version they changed to a single windscreen Viper. The huge cutouts behind the front axle allow more performance from the front diffuser. In terms of power, we could expect something around 600 horsepower from the V8 plus some hybrid power for the road car. Here it would be interesting to see if they are using electric motors on the front axle, which would also explain why they didn't have the space for the huge outlet the non-hybrid GT3 version has. In terms of the price for the GT3 car, it will be interesting to see where we end up, since Ferrari just pushed their price up to 700,000 euro, while an Audi R8 GT3 was less than 400,000 euro not too long ago. The timing is good since the homologation for the Lexus RCF GT3 runs out in 2027. So in 2026 they could use the new GR GT3 alongside to gain experience and take over. So what do you think about Toyota's new sports car? How did you like the surprise in Goodwood? Let me know in the comments below and check out my other videos for more.